So this is going to be my review of the 2006 141 Fielder Wagon. This particular model is powered by the 1.5 liter NZE FE engine, 101 horsepower with 140 nanometers of torque. It has power folding mirrors. The fuel tank is just about 50 liters, so from the gas light on it's about $230. Super to full. You can use premium as well, but I don't get any added benefits in using premium versus super, so I just stick with super. My current tire configuration is 195 65 15 high fly tires. Now those tires aren't the best, but they work pretty well for what I use the vehicle for day to day. Now when it comes to styling, I really like the styling of this vehicle. It has aged really well. The front lights are a bit too big compared to modern vehicles, and that's the only thing you can see that, okay, it's an older vehicle. But other than that, the styling really has aged pretty well. But you don't buy a wagon just for styling, you buy a wagon for the trunk space. And this vehicle also has that, because after all, it is a wagon. You can either have it like this, which is how I have it day to day, or you can move the separator, fold down the back seats, and you can have all this trunk space here. I once was helping a friend move, and I put an entire fridge, well, a smaller fridge, inside here, and a smaller stove. Granted, the rear of the car didn't like it very much, because one of the weak points in this vehicle is the rear suspension. It tends to squat down very easily, which to the general public gives a very unsightly, unkept look, because it makes the public think that you are not maintaining your vehicle when they see it drive by. But the vehicle just has a naturally soft rear suspension, and I guess they built it like that for comfort over toting stuff, but it's a wagon after all, so you will be toting stuff. Now, I haven't done anything really to this engine. How this car is here is how I got it. The only things I would have had to change: K&N air filter inside of here. This is the third battery. The first one I got, it lasted for like the first 2 years. The second one was a dud, and then this one I have like about 3 months now. Yes, my engine bay is dirty, but no one really looks underneath here, so I don't really care. This AC compressor, if you can see it down there, is the bottleneck AC compressor from the 121 Fielders. The original one that it came with gave out like middle of last year. I didn't want to put it back in because I heard it has a fault with the solenoid, so I just put in a 121 bottleneck Fielder compressor. But other than that, everything else in here is how the vehicle would have came. So sitting in the back, this is my seat position here. The base of the seat is all the way back, and it isn't as reclined as this one here, so we will see the room on this side. But as is here, you can see there's still room for the average size person to fit in here. So we are over here, as you can see, it's a bit more tight over here with the seat reclined. Someone can't fit in the back here still, because this part here is kind of squishy. So you can't fit in the front here, in the back here I should say. Also, it must be said that even though the local Toyota Corolla also carries the 141 designation and the interior looks similar, the sedan is a bit wider in terms of width than the Fielder Wagon. Also, if you drove both of them back to back, you would realize that the Fielder Wagon isn't as stable on bumpy roads when compared to the sedan, because the sedan is a bit wider overall. So in the front, you can see there's leg room. You can stretch your foot all the way out. This is with the base of the seat all the way back. But all in all, it's not really, it's hard plastic here, hard plastic here, hard plastic here, a kind of soft material here that gets kind of squishy when the sun is pretty hot. But all in all, it's functional. Not as durable as I will show you on the other side, but it's functional. You have your double glove box. You have one on top. I keep my mask, insurance, whatever there. You have your base, and right now I have a cloth, water, bottle of mentholated spirit. So you have 2 glove compartments here. Okay, so like I said, this car doesn't have much features. It's a 2006 basic Fielder Wagon, but it has some things that makes life a lot easier. For example, all 4 windows are one touch up down, so you simply just I don't know why most cars don't have that. Most cars have these, you have to hold down, and the driver's zone is the only one that you have to one touch up down. But this vehicle had all 4. I really appreciate that. Another thing I really like about the vehicle is this little adjustment here. You could turn it a little dial, you turn it up or down, and what this does, it adjusts the headlights up or down. Because sometimes you're totally low in the back, or you probably have some people in the back of the car goes down and the front goes up. So you don't want your headlights to be in oncoming traffic space blinding people. So you just, adjust this so you can tilt the light back down to, ground level. Over here we have your mirror controls, standard thing, right, left, and you do this to adjust. You have your power folding mirrors. It don't fold in when you lock the vehicle. You have to actually manually fold it in. But even this is still better than having to, walk out to your car and manually fold it in. We have no mirror here, no vanity mirror here or over on this side. This head unit is an aftermarket head unit. It didn't come with the vehicle. I got a basic head unit with like a aux cord and stuff, so I changed it for an Android head unit. Now, I don't have to go too much in detail into this. It's essentially a tablet with a radio attached to it. So anything you can do with a tablet, you can, with an Android tablet or a phone, you can do here. Plus, it has the added benefit of having a radio without having to plug in a headphone. So I would advise anyone, if you want to upgrade your stereo system, get an Android head unit. Down here we have the cigarette lighter. I have my dash cams plugged in, and we have a little pocket here. Here we have the gear shifter. I mean, obviously it's a neutral right now. This vehicle has D and S. The S is for sport. When you put it in sport, you can see the S changes there. What sport essentially does, it keeps the vehicle in a lower gear ratio, so it prepares the vehicle for acceleration. For example, if you're driving along, your RPM might normally be about, let's say about this, right? Cruising along. When you put it in the sport, it immediately goes up to about here or a little bit lower. So what this does, it keeps the vehicle essentially in a lower gear. Let's say you're in fourth, it will go down to third. If you're in third, it will go down to second. But because this vehicle is a CVT, it has gear ratios, not gears. It just adjusts the gear ratio to suit. So what this really does is like, it keeps the RPM high in case you are ready to move. As you mash, the car already ready to, get going. I'm on a road right now with, I don't know, I'm somewhere in Diamondville. I'm probably lost most likely because I don't know who the hell built Diamondville. But I think I have to go down here. Yeah, so I'm on a road right now with, some slight imperfections, and the vehicle is handling it pretty well. Like I said, the suspension in this vehicle is really good. The only weak point is when you load up the back tends to, squat down a bit, and it looks really, really old. It looks like you have an old car when you look at it from the outside. So with the eco light on, just cruising at about 70, 80 kilometers, I'm getting 19.6 kilometers per liter. Now, if I were to put the car in sport, you would see the RPM go up, and it drops to 13.6 kilometers per liter. So you can tell there's a vast difference. You are burning more fuel. Now the RPM stays this high. Now with the RPM this high, like I said, you're always ready to get up and move. See, you're already in a faster RPM, so you're able to get up and move quicker. But just note that you are burning more fuel once you keep the vehicle in sport. The RPM always stays high. Another thing about this vehicle is the excessive road noise. Now, granted, it is a 15-year-old vehicle, so most of the rubbers are worn out, around the doors and the windows and stuff like that. So that allows a lot of road noise to get in. But when you drive it, like now, for example, it's bearable. But once you get down in it, like, you can hear the road noise. But now let's talk about performance, because it's a mixed bag. The vehicle isn't a sports car. It doesn't handle like a sports car. It don't accelerate like a sports car. It generally don't drive like a sports car. The weak point of this when it comes to acceleration is the 0 to about 40 mark. The car just drones on and on, but after that it really picks up and goes. So as you can see, once you get off the line, you get some momentum going. Let's say after 40 kph, you're going to get up there really quickly. It would have gone all the way to 180 had I let it, but there's no sense speeding just for a review. You get the general idea. And braking performance is also pretty good. And by the fact that the glass is wet, you can tell this test was done on a wet road. So an economy car on a wet road with cheap high fly tires, and still the car was able to brake in a straight line from about 100 kilometers an hour without any excessive skidding. So that is really commendable. So overall, I would say yes, if you are in the market for a wagon, the Toyota Fielder is something to look at. However, if you are going to be toting a lot of load, heavy stuff every single day, continuously work or whatever it is, I would recommend maybe the 80 wagon, because the transmission in the Fielder is a non-abuse transmission, which means don't go toting heavy loads every single day. Don't go giving a friend a tow home, because you will overheat and you will have to buy a new transmission in time. So if you're going to be beating up the vehicle every single day, I would suggest you go for a 80 wagon. It's more robust in terms of that, and the parts are cheaper when you actually do need it. Now, this is not to say that this vehicle is a soft vehicle by any means. I have done a lot with this vehicle in the 4 years I've had it. I have worked ride share, I have worked some taxi, I drive all over the place doing deliveries. So this vehicle is on the road almost every single day except Saturdays and Sundays. And it has stood up in the past 3.5 going on 4 years that I've had the vehicle. The only things I've had to change would have been the cradle lamp bushings, the AC compressor, and now one of the wheel bearings in front is going bad. But other than that, not even a bulb needs to be changed. All the bulbs are original except the headlights. I changed that because I wanted the LEDs. But other than that, it's a really solid vehicle.